It's been announced that this abandoned location back here in Philly is going to change in the near future, and I feel compelled to document it before that happens. I'm back once again in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for another abandoned exploration. As you can tell by my shirt, has to deal with railroad history once again. You may remember my last visit here where I took you to a converted area of an elevated rail line known as the Viaduct. The converted area is now known as the Rail Park, but as we learned, there's still an untouched abandoned section. Do you want to see what it looks like today? I know I do, but if you do, continue watching and come along with me. In case you're curious, we're here near the end of April. It is a Friday late morning, approximately 10:45 in the morning. It's around 70 degrees right now, projected high of 80. Electric scooter alert. We are getting closer. We're along Broad Street right now, coming towards the heart of the city. Some of the amazing architecture and buildings. And as we look up here, even an old water tower from days gone by. That's refurbished for a company, BN of Philadelphia. Well, one way you know that you're close to the rail park is when you come down here and you find this landlocked train car. Matt and myself did see this last time when we were exiting the city. Didn't get it on film, but I wanted to show it to you today. It is actually sitting on rails. It is a full-fledged rail car, but it is here landlocked permanently. I don't know what the story of it is, don't know why it's here, other than paying homage to the old railroad days, because tracks did come right through here. This is going to lead us right to the rail park. The elevated rail line park slash viaduct starts right down here at the end of the street, just slightly to the right. But this is gated, posted, looks like it's an old, maybe combination car of luggage and coach. Maybe just a luggage car, could have been a dining car. I don't see any numbers on it. But I did find it pretty fascinating though, because the only way it can be removed out of here is to be dismantled or lifted by crane. There's even a roll-up garage door there on the end. But the rails are still down there. Right down the street from the rail car is an eye-catching building, which I thought was originally a theater. It's actually a former printing company. It says Lasher Printing Company right there. And up on top is a big lookout tower. Almost resembles like you see at an old jail or prison. And today it's nothing more than storage space. But pretty grand looking building. It's got some exposed rebar in areas, some brickwork from those little tiny columns on the outside there. And if you keep walking past that, it says closed sign. Well, this is where the rail park, one of the two entrances, is. Now, since we've been here before, I'm not going to bother showing you the converted area known as the rail park, because my previous video we did cover it. I showed you the whole section here, told you some history about it. There's also a really awesome timeline here and map of the area. And that line right there, which looks like a wedge right there, see it? That is the elevated rail line. We're on the right side. We're gonna be going over to that part. I'm looking at the screen trying to get my finger to line up, so that's the untouched area. Here we are at the other end of the rail park, which is the other entrance. Maybe remember these giant swings here as well. And this is where the converted section ends and the old untouched abandoned section begins, right behind this gate. But encountered a bit of an issue. When Matt and I were here last time, we climbed up these steps, and I noticed back here all the untouched abandoned area, remnants of a water tower, a signal bridge, and a just reclaimed area by nature. And I saw this opening here. I'm like, oh, so easy to get back there. Not a problem at all. But from what I can remember, I don't remember this being posted. But there's posted signs all along this fence now. And there is a posted sign right through this gate. And that poses a problem, because being back here, I am going to be highly visible. There's businesses all around. I'm wearing a relatively bright colored blue shirt, so if I was walking up there, people on the rail bridge where I'm standing, or even traffic down below, could potentially see me. There's also a camera right there on that light pole. It just is kind of telling me you need to alter your plans. And my plan was to get back here. It dead ends past this signal bridge and then goes down in that direction for however many hundreds of yards, and eventually dead ends. And I do have some details I can tell you about this line, as far as what operated on here, how many lines are on here, which I'm going to still do that, but we need to come up with a plan B, because I can't risk going back there, since it looks like it's relatively new signs, and I'm going to be sticking out like a sore thumb wearing a bright blue shirt in all this greenery and reclaimed areas. So let me see what I can do, and we'll go from there. So before I tell you about plan B, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be hopefully viewing today. So this is officially known as the Viaduct. The converted area here is now known as the rail park. That's really loud. Really similar to New York City, what is the High Line, I believe, which is also a converted elevated trestle slash viaduct that's now a public park. This is one section of it that is converted for public access. Behind you guys, as I showed, going down that direction, is untouched abandoned. It's basically a wedge shape. So we're coming this way, that side's coming this way, forms a point, which is back there by that signal bridge. But it says the Viaduct is an elevated section of the former Philadelphia and Reading Railroad and its 9th Street branch. Now, if you watched my last video, you already know that the Reading Railroad operated heavily in this area, especially through the tunnel that we covered in that video and right here where we're standing. So the Reading Railroad did operate here. I'm going to show some screenshots as I'm kind of talking about what I'm showing on my phone here. But the combination of Google Earth historical timeline and the rail guide map do have some images. So right here where we're standing, we already know it's a wedge shape, and the line did terminate. It appears a little bit further past up ahead behind that signal bridge. I don't know from there where it went. So this looks like it's a stopping point on the rail guide map where all the lines just kind of merge and stop at a dead point. Whether it's like a holding area or just for switching, that I don't know. But Reading Railroad itself operated specifically up here on this viaduct section, and we know, based on Google Earth confirming it, that there were at least 4 lines up here going across the viaduct in that wedge shape. Now, going down in that direction, which I'm hopefully going to be able to give you views of, looks like a rather large yard area. Numerous lines, looks like not 1, 2, possibly 3 turntables back there for turning locomotives around down there along that wing of the line of the viaducts. So depending on where the trains were going, they probably would have came up and then switched, or vice versa. I think that's the only use I could see of this elevated viaduct, because again, it doesn't show the lines continuing much further in that direction. It looks like it's just far enough to kind of clear a switch and head in the other direction. 2011, tracks were still in place over there on the untouched abandoned area. By 2016, looks like they were ripped up. 2022, nearly everything's gone except the platform itself, some concrete, some steel structures, signals, and on various buildings, remnants of water towers. So again, today, not a whole lot, but with the proposed plans and changes, that area is going to be basically converted to this. It's going to be another public access area, which is good. They're not going away with it, but it's going to look much different than we see it today, which is overgrown with weeds and trees and grass. And the history part's still going to be remembered, still going to be honored, but it's going to be just like this. It's not going to look like a viaduct anymore. It's just going to look like an elevated walking trail / bridge area. It gives you some unique views of the city. So it's not a complete loss. It's not a total, demolishing of it. It's just going to be reconverted into what we see. So my plan B, I came thinking worst possible case scenario, which private property posted signs is giving me that. I do have plan B in this bag, my drone. I should be able to get it up in the air and do what I've done in other videos. Talk to you, narrate as we're looking at the footage. I'm gonna stay here. I will have clear line of sight the entire flight here, and we'll be able to get some views from the air without trespassing, getting caught, risking getting in trouble. And I think it's gonna be the best possible case scenario. Even though I want to go on foot and see if anything is still remaining back there, we're gonna do our best to get a view from the air. All right, we're recording. Gonna start off just to the left of me here, the point of this viaduct. We'll check out that area. Gonna go nice and slow because I don't know if there's any obstructions. And then we'll work our way down towards where the holding area was and turntables. Looks like a jungle back there. And Philly traffic. Got a nice shot of that signal bridge right there. You can see the remaining bottom portion of the water tower. I believe they would have supplied water for the buildings. Maybe even collected rainwater when they were there. So as we proceed further back, another bridge-like structure, signal bridge. And then on here, it looks like it terminates. I think it did go further at the time, and then the city developed. But right now, that's as far as we could go. As far as the viaduct area goes, although we do see a walking path back there. People do go back there, I'm sure, either homeless or locals, but again, I don't want to press my luck not being from the area and standing out like a sore thumb with this blue shirt. Although it is appropriate for what we're covering, it is definitely not helping me blend in if I was back there. So we'll turn around, look back. There's a good view. You can see the wedge shape here, which is what I was describing before. We're at the point like the top of an arrow, and then it goes off in left and right. Left is the rail park, right is the untouched abandoned area. So I'll just come here to this area, pan to the left, that's where we are, right down there by the swing. You can see it sweeping around, meeting up with road level. And then this is the area that I was most fascinated with. So I'm gonna get a little bit higher. Just make sure we clear any wires or poles or anything like that. I'll tilt a little bit more down, and we'll just slowly make our way back. As far as I could tell, confirming on Google Earth is that the rails are gone, but there were at least 4 lines on here at one time. Certainly wide enough. And you can kind of make out where they would have been too. Do see some ties down there. I could zoom in on a few areas here. So some ties, some steel beams. I'm sure there's plates and spikes. Proceeding forward. And showing right here another water tower. What's on top of that building? And let's keep going back. A lot of signal bridges back here. I guess there was a lot of switching going on to switch to the different lines, to going in the different directions. This was a heavily used artery of the Reading Railroad. And it's going to be good to know that in the future we could come here and publicly, safely walk on it. Although I'd rather it look like this, kind of untouched, reclaimed. At least we'll still have access to it in the future. So, large building on the left, some more tree growth here. And my plan was to walk back there and kind of document as I go, showing you where I'm standing according to the Rail Guide app. So you could see exactly where I was. Can't replicate that, unfortunately, because I'm not there with my phone with the GPS. So we're just going to have to do it this way. I just can't get over the amount of signal bridges, though. I'm guessing that's what they are. I mean, I don't think it was electric lines, but they do resemble signal bridges, although most of the signals are gone on these ones here. So as we keep going back, really overgrown back here. It's like a forest, an elevated forest. Just bridge after bridge. That's what I'm going to call them, unless I learn otherwise. I'm presuming that they are signal bridges. Got a little clearing here, so we'll zoom in on this area for a bit just to kind of see if we can pick up any details. Pretty bare, some graffiti, exposed beams. Continue on. This area is really lush back here. Once we get past that, you see a big roadway underneath. It kind of clears out, and if I'm not mistaken, I think around here is where the rail yard was and the turntables. I do know this is going to eventually meet up with some active rail lines, and that's as far as we're going to go. So not too much further, but I do think in this area was the turntable / yard area. Going to go up in height a little bit higher. Yeah, I think it's this big white building on the left-hand side. And again, I'll show some screenshots as we're doing this just to kind of confirm where we are. And yeah, there's the active lines. So you can see where the old meets the new. And the viaduct unofficially ends right here, the untouched abandoned area. And we can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines right there, active lines. And they go right through the city there. So I'm guessing this would have met up with those lines. It would have merged right onto there. And it stops right there. So I'm going to go a little bit past. I'm going to turn around, just give you a view back. And we'll be able to see where we just came from. Right there. So yeah, that big white building is where the yard area was, and at least 1, I think 2 or 3 turntables for turning locomotives around. So that building is there obviously afterwards, but there was numerous lines right in this area where we are right now. Really wish we got there on foot, but I think plan B is a good alternative here. We're seeing what we want to see just from a distance, and it's better than not getting anything at all. So I am happy with what we're covering here. And just looking city view straight ahead, cruising back towards our direction, 21, 22 miles an hour. And we can see that it curves to the right, and it's going to form that wedge shape up here near where we are. And you get to hear the city as it's happening too. Just sitting here on the rail park, and all the traffic below me is going on as usual. So I'm going to kind of veer off course here just to show you that wedge shape from over here. You get a clear visual not only from the rail guide map, Google Earth, but also here from the air on location. As I showed you earlier, that yellow section is the rail park converted area. Blue section is the untouched abandoned. And we'll just kind of drop down. I'm right there on that last bench too. I'm sorry, the swing. And it's going to come down here. I'm going to get pretty close to the ground since this is pretty close to me. And I just want to get down near these pathways and kind of fly nice and low and see if we can find anything worth sharing in the video that we haven't seen already. Obviously I can't get too low because there is some brush, but I think we could get relatively low here. Pretty confident with my flying skills, so we're just gonna go nice and slow, follow the pathway. Where it is grown over, obviously we can't see anything because, well, it's covered by nature. It's a toppled down fence right there. This path is pretty worn down. 100% people come through here. Heading further back, it's getting a little bit more dense, so I don't know if I could continue down here. I don't think I could. I think I will have to raise up. Oh, there is a wire. Wow, that was really close. That could have been bad. If the drone went down, I would have been forced to go back there and get it. And doing what I didn't want to do, and that was to trespass, so glad I caught that. Slowly spinning around. Yeah, let's get back down here. It's like a lot of graffiti right here in this area. Look at the amount of trash on the backside of that gate. It's like a dumping ground. And as I'm sitting here, I am smelling the devil's lettuce. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. All right, and we are safely back. Well, successful flight. Had a close call there towards the end, but I think we got to see everything that we wanted to see. So let me get this put away and I'll share a few more thoughts with you. Boy, it has warmed up really quickly. I decided to wear jeans today because I plan on walking through that overgrown foliage area. And now I'm just sitting here heating up in the shade, but it's still pretty warm. I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I had full intention of getting back there. And the only thing I remember from last time is the white sign saying rail park ends here. Behind here is private property. Those signs I do remember, and based on the opening and the garbage and walking trail, which I could see is pretty heavily used, I thought it'd still be okay to go back there. But now all these new private property signs that I don't remember seeing last time, although I probably could have got away with it. You know, most people aren't really paying attention as to what's going on back there. It's an unused, almost forgotten about area. I probably could have gotten away with it, but my luck, either someone would see me, you know, and then police would be called, or the footage when it came out would have been maybe saw by someone who wasn't happy with what I was doing. So I think I made the best decision. If I was a local and more familiar with the area and how things work, or met up with a local who could kind of give me the ins and outs of what's okay, what's not okay, maybe it would have been different. But I came prepared for the worst. It worked out. And I love seeing areas like this, areas that are just reclaimed by nature. And of course, having railroad history is even more important and significant to me. It's turning out that Philly has a lot more to offer than I imagined. There is a lot of history here, more than just railroad history. But if you are into railroads like I am, both past and present, this city definitely has it. Down below us, there's tracks in the street, which I showed in the last video. There used to be streetcar service here. There's subways here, which I may or may not try to get some footage of before we leave. And there's 4 main lines back there behind me that we saw from the air. It's just a heavily used, bustling area, and train traffic plays an important role in it. More so back in the day than now, but still not completely gone. And having this rail park here for future generations to enjoy and to learn about what used to be here, including that timeline map that we showed, that's really awesome to show you where everything was in the city. Baldwin Locomotive Works was here. There was Reading Railroad shops. There was ports by the Delaware River. Just really hard to imagine back in the day how much more was taking place than there is today. And today it's mostly trucks, vehicles, even e-bikes doing transport with baskets I see. So times have changed. It's different than it used to be. Like I said, I felt I was compelled, and it was my duty to document this before it does change. And now we know what used to exist. And in the future, if it is within my lifetime that this changes into a public park, we'll come back and document it. With that being said, I want to thank you for coming along for this latest Philly adventure. I do have something else planned for today, which is probably going to be in a What Is It Wednesday video. It's a few miles away from here, but I did spot it on the way in. So most likely you will see another video coming out after this one for a shorter What Is It Wednesday video of some random findings I came across that looked rather peculiar and interesting. And of course, everything I mentioned will be linked down below, including a playlist for some more railroad ruins and adventures. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.